guys? Can I get you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? All right, let's go ahead and put that there. We're going to paste that down. There we go. See if we can make that go away because it's obnoxious. There we go. Okay, so here we are. Let's see what we can do with this, guys. I'm looking for a little bit of help, and that's going to come from Jayla. What does a fraction bar secretly mean? I'm glad they're keeping the secret really well. I like that. So it means it's addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. Like the fraction bar is a shorthand way to do one of those operations. Do you remember which one it is?
Division?
It's division, yeah. So I would read this instead of 14 over 8. What if you change that fraction bar into divided by? What would that say? So instead of saying 14 over 8, change that over into divided by and tell me what it says. And that's what we're going to do in our calculator. Go ahead and punch that in your calculator there, Jayla. What is 14 divided by 8? 1.75. Great. So we're just going to go 1.75. How many of us were either able to get 1.75 or see how Jayla got that and aren't too alarmed? Great. So this guy, 2 and 4/33, there's a few ways to do that. One of them is you can use your calculator to do that. 2, and if you hit second, there's that UND right there. That'll give you the 2 and 4/33, which will give you 70/33, and you can turn it into a decimal, which is 2.12 repeating. Perfect. And then negative 19 over 2 is just negative 19 divided by 2, and that is negative 9.5. How many of us were either able to get those or after seeing them are not too worried about those? You guys doing okay? If you didn't like that calculator thing, you can always turn that into an improper fraction on your own by doing 2 times 33, which is, let's see, 2 times 33, 66. You add the 4 on the top, and then it becomes 70 over 33. And you can just do 70 divided by 33, and you'll get the same answer. By the way, 1, 2, and 3, are those numbers rational or irrational? Everyone, those numbers are all... They are all rational because they are all fractions of integers, can be written as a fraction of integers, or they are decimals that end or repeat. That's why those are all rational numbers. Okay, let's do this third root of 6. So I'm just going to punch that in my calculator. 3, you hit the x root to make sure the 3 is in the index of 6. 1.817 about. 1.817. Oh, to the nearest hundredth, though? So if I round it to the nearest hundredth, guys, should that be 8.1 or 8.2? That should be an 8.2. Very good, because I need to round that up. Okay, by the way, is that rational or irrational? Everyone, that is? Ooh, I heard both. If you need to look back at your notes from yesterday, please do. Is that number rational or irrational, and how can you tell? I'll put it up there so it's the only thing. The third root of 6. It's rational or irrational. I heard some people say rational. I heard some people say irrational. Look back at your notes if you have to. Does that fit into one of the 3 flavors? Give it a try and teach. Okay, can I get you back up here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Malia, do you think that that is rational or irrational? It's irrational. That's correct. How do you know? Oh, even better, it's actually an imperfect root. Remember how if you take a root and like your calculator barfs all over you? That's when you know it's irrational. Like when you take like the third root of 8, you'll notice that I get 2. I get something very nice back. But when I take the third root of 6, I get this huge, nasty barf right all over me, right? That's how you can tell it's irrational, is if I take a root and you get something really nasty like that. So it's irrational as an imperfect root. But you're right, it does look like a funky number pattern as well. But I think it's a little easier to think of it as an imperfect root. Okay, the square root of 4.5, we can just jam that in our calculator. The square root of 4.5, which, by the way, is the same thing as the second root of 4.5. Either of those is a fine way to do it. Is that rational or irrational? Everyone, that is? Irrational. Since I took a root and got something horrible back, that's irrational. If I round it to the nearest hundredth, what comes after the 2, everybody? So should it be 2.12 or 2.14? Or sorry, 2.12 or 2.13? It should be 2.12. Very good. So about 2.12. Last but not least, the square root, the opposite of the square root of 90.25. So negative square roots of 90.25. It's about negative 9.5. So wait a minute. Was that last one rational or irrational? Everyone, it is? It is rational because we took a root and we got something nice back, right? The number I got back was actually nicer than what I started with. And that's how you can tell that that is rational. That is a decimal expansion that ends. So we're good. So here's the question. Which of these, between 1 and 4, which of these numbers is bigger? Number 1 or number 4? I would say it's number what, everyone? I would say it's number 4. I agree. You can tell because if it's like $1.82 versus $1.75, you'd rather have $1.82. How about between 2 and 5? What's bigger, guys? Number 2 or number 5? I would say it was number... You know what? How many of you guys would like to go back to what our answer for number 5 in order to answer that? Right? Because I know that 2.12 is 2.12121212 forever. And then the square root of 4.5, I don't even remember. 2.12132. 2.12132. So when I say teach, I want you to say, okay, how can you tell which one of those two is bigger, number 2 or number 5, and which one is it? Teach! Okay, can I get you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Dash, which one's bigger, number 2 or number 5? Number 5, how can you tell? That's right. 2.1212 versus 2.1213. The 3 beats the 2, and so number 5 would be bigger. Very good. How about number 3, guys? Number 3 versus number 6. Which one's bigger? Everyone, it should be... Yeah, say it again, Dash. They're equal. They are already equal. They are literally the same number. So we actually would say that they are equal. So how many of us, by raise a hand, feel like we understood how to check if they are bigger or smaller? Because I'm going to tell you right now, that's a 3 on your on your skill check. When on next week's skill check, the level 3 questions are ordering these numbers, getting all of these in order from least to greatest or vice versa, which means we're actually on the correct essential question and everything. So let's talk, guys. It's the 132nd day of school. If you add every 2-digit permutation of 132, you get 132. Let me explain. Imagine you had 3 cards sitting in front of you. You had 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. And together they said 132. Using 2 cards, what are all the numbers that you could make if I just use 2 of the cards I had here? Go ahead. Yep, you could make a 13. What else? 12, 32, 21, 31, 23. I think that's all of them. Yeah. And if you add all those numbers up, you get 132. I know. Pretty spiffy. Joyeux journée de la langue française. Yay. Indeed. Does anyone know what that says? Does anyone know what that says? Rachel, do you know? Oh, no, I thought you had your hand up. Yeah.
Is it something like celebration of the language?
Yeah, it's a happy day for the French language is what that says. Let's see, what is our first essential question? And this time, this really is our first essential question. I'm not tricking you. I'm not being dumb. Well, I mean, about that anyway. But what is our first essential question, Rachel, really? Yeah, well, go ahead and write that down for me, guys. A list of real numbers in order from least to greatest, or vice versa. Our Jeopardy this week is Ireland. This city is the capital of the Republic of Ireland, and it's most populous. Does anyone know what that city is called? The answer is Dublin. Dublin is the correct answer. Dublin. And then Good Luck Charms, Rabbit's Foot. I thought that was a pretty good drawing there. Thank you. Are you guys okay?
No.
Why? Me too.
It's Thursday.
Yeah, so Thursday's the best. Thursday is secretly my favorite day because you're excited for Friday, and Friday's never as good as you want it to be. You know what I mean? Cora, what's up?
No, because when every other day of the week feels like Thursday, except Thursday, it's not.
I get that. Here's what I want you to do, guys. Here's what I want you to do. When I say teach, I want you to say, okay, starting with the person all the way to your left, I want you to tell your partners something that you are super excited to do during spring break. So spring break is, it's 2 weeks, this week, next week, and then it's going to be so like this coming week, and then the week after that, and then it's going to be spring break, okay? So tell your partners what you're really excited to do for spring break. Just work your way on down the line. Then we're going to come back and maybe be a little more awake. Let's see what we can do. Give it a try, and here we go. Woo! Spring break! Teach! Well, I'm pretty sure I said, woo! Spring break! Teach, but that's close enough. Go ahead. Okay. All right. Can I get you guys back up here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Lucy, what are you excited about for spring break? No plans? Sometimes those are the best plans of all, though. What do you like to do when you have a big break and no plans? Sleep? Absolutely. Get some sleep in. I love that. Okora, how about you? What are you excited about for spring break?
I'm going camping, and I get to ride my 4-wheeler.
Oh, that's awesome. That'll be way cool. Let's see here. Let's go for Jack. What are you excited about for spring break? Yeah, what do you like to do when you don't have any plans? Oh, that's cool. I love that. Very good. That's awesome. Okay. All right, guys, let's get to it. Underneath all this, got a pencil?
Absolutely.
There we go. Thanks, guys. Thanks for waking up and perking up with me. I think you guys do deserve a point for that. Thank you. All right, here we go, guys. Today we're ordering real numbers. So a real number is any number that fits on a number line. And I'll tell you right now, unless you're into some weird math stuff, you probably have only seen real numbers, right? I don't think anybody's seen any complex numbers here. I doubt that very much. But if so, cool. We're not dealing with those today. That's a 10th grade topic. Okay, let's see here. Oh, you know what? I was pulling up my notes and I just completely forgot to finish. Let's see here. Let's see. I think what happened was that I used to have, I have this called well ordered, and I started thinking I need to put it as formerly well ordered because that's not the order we do things in anymore. There it is. All right, maybe I did do it. Okay. Okay, here we go. We're going to be ordering real numbers today. Huzzah! Care to be part of a study? Too bad. While at the mall, a friendly woman comes up to you and asks if you'd like to be part of a study. She says it should take about 30 minutes, and you will be compensated for your time. Well, she didn't say. She leads you to a store in the mall that has been converted for this use and lets you know to stay put for just a moment. What kind of a study is this? Well, you and 5 other people are led into a room, and the lock clicks behind you all. The room has a view into another room where there are what appear to be bowls of dog food on the ground. And it turns out really to be dog food. The woman comes on the PA and states, "Welcome, we'll be calling you in this room one by one, and you will not be allowed to leave until you consume one bowl of dog food. You get to pick the bowl, and then you can leave." Yay! This is not happening. Oh, but it is. As you wait nervously for your names to be called, you notice that each bowl appears to have a label saying how many pounds of dog food there are in the bowl. Here's what the labels say. Will you guys write those numbers down? Write those numbers down. There are 6 numbers because there are 6 participants. I want you to write those 6 numbers down. I want you to write those 6 numbers down. And I will do the same. Those of you at home, it just navigated away. Don't stress. I'm going to write them down right here. So one of the bowls is 4 2/5 pounds of dog food. What do you mean this isn't realistic? This is a true story. No, it's not. But you know what? It's a weird thing. It's these guys have a weird study. They want you guys to eat the dog food because dogs won't eat the food, and since dogs can't talk, they won't tell them why. So they need you to eat the dog food and then tell them why you think the dogs are not. No, you signed a release and everything. They did. Didn't you see her clipboard? Very official. Yeah, but who reads those things, right? Yeah, there you go. Will do. Okay, go ahead and write down those 6 numbers for me, guys. Now, I'm going to give you guys just a couple minutes to do the following thing with these, okay? Because we're going to get into this in just a minute. Let's say you get called up first. Lucky you. Do you, well, I mean, it beats being, I think. If you're the first person to get in there, guys, which bowl do you want to eat? Do you want to eat the bowl with the most dog food because you're hungry, yum yum? Or do you want to eat the bowl with the least dog food because that dog food looks nasty and that's even for dog food? Do you want the bowl with the most dog food or the least dog food? So here's what I want you to do for 2 minutes. Talk to your partners and see if you can identify which of these bowls has the least amount of dog food. Which of these bowls has the lowest amount of dog food? See what you guys can come up with and teach. Yeah. I don't know. Punch it in there. Your calculator's right there. Your calculator has a pi button that I would recommend you use for this for sure. Pencil marks have been bugging me all week. Yes, sir. You think you got it? Oh, that's okay. Hit 4, and then hit second, and then there's a little U. There you go. Uh-huh. That's the one. And now you can put in 2/5. Hit enter. It'll give you a fraction. Hit the little key that turns it into a decimal, and you'll be in business. There's a few ways to do it, and that's one of them for sure. Take another minute, guys. See if you can find the one that is the lowest. That looks pretty promising. That looks pretty promising. Hello, Oliver. I don't know. I don't have it memorized. Let's find out. Let's find out. I love this, by the way, that you're doing right here. This is very smart. We're going to talk a lot about that. That's really good. I love that. In fact, I'm going to put you on the start team for that, Oliver. That's cool. You figured that out all on your own there. Okay, can I get you guys back up here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? All right, guys. Who thinks the least amount of dog food is 4 2/5? Okay. Who thinks it's pi plus 1? Couple. Square root of 21? 4.14 repeating. Okay. Third root of 60? 4.14, 114, 1114, 1111, all that. Okay, here's how I do these. I'm going to show you guys how I do this, and then I would like you to do it with me this same way the first time. If you have a different way you want to do it, that's totally fine. Here's how I compare these numbers. The first thing I do is I write them all in a vertical line. Got a pencil?
Absolutely.
4 2/5 equals pi plus 1 equals the square root of 21 equals 4.14 repeating equals the third root of 60 equals 4.14114 dot 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 equals, and we're going to write them out in a list so that I'm stacking one right on top of the other. This is what Oliver was up to, which I thought was really cool, is that he was writing these all in a big list and then just stacking them so that the numbers, the digits line up. So 4 2/5. There's a couple ways to do that. 4 2/5, and then that turns into 4.4. So I'm going to write it as 4.4. I'm going to give you guys a second to catch up. I apologize. Take another 30 seconds to write all that down so far. I put them in a vertical line, and you're going to see why in just a second. Okay, let's do pi plus 1. In your calculator, guys, you actually have a pi button. It's right here. So you do pi plus 1. Don't use 3.14 or 22/7 this year. You've got a pi button. Just use that. All right, 22/7 and 3.14 come up later, but we'll deal with that then. 4.14159. I'll just take it that far. 4.14159. So really quickly, which of these numbers is bigger? 4 2/5 or pi plus 1? Let me see. In a Scottish accent, let's see here, drawing some empty seats here. No, it's not going to work. Nope, empty seats. Come on. Oh, there we go. Bronson, which of these is bigger? 4 2/5 or pi plus 1?
4.4.
Aye, even though this is a terminating decimal and this goes on forever, it's still, this one here is still less because the 4 is bigger than the 1. So if you had your pick between this bowl and this bowl, which one would you take, Bronson?
I would take pi.
Aye, me too. Agreed. All right, let's do the square root of 21. 4.58257. 4.58, right? 58257. You'll notice I'm not actually rounding anything because I want to add more decimals if I have to. I had a student want to ask, Mr. Petersen, how am I supposed to put a repeating decimal in my calculator? But the truth is you don't have to, because this goes 4 point what? Let's see if I can get some help out there. That would go 4 point what? Let's see, quarter, that would be 4 point what? And then? And so on. If I have to add more decimals, I can. Let's do a quick check-in. Uh-oh, let's make sure that's not the missus. Or daycare. Or... I know, if it's the missus or a daycare or my daughter's school, then I gotta take it, but since it's not, I'm good. Okay, really, let's just check in. Which of these is the smallest so far? We know it's not 4 2/5. So what's a smaller bit? The pi plus 1 or the square root of 21? Pi plus 1, because it's 4 versus 4 or 1 versus 5. What's a smaller bit? Pi plus 1 or 4.14 repeating? Aye, very good, because it's the same all the way until you get to this 4. Let's finish this off, though. The third root of 60 is 3.9148. 3.9148 And then this is 4.1411411114 and so on. Which bowl of dog food would you eat if you were the first person to get called up? Reese, which bowl of dog food would you eat if you got called up first? Aye, and where did that number come from? Oh, I know you chose it because it's the smallest, but how did we get this number? What did we do? So what I mean is, what was the original number? When you want to tell me, like, because if you go out there and you're like, okay, I want the bowl that says 3.9148, there's none of the bowls, nary of the bowls say that. What does the bowl say on it? Aye, the third root of 60. Let's write that down. The third root of 60 is definitely the bowl we'd go for. Here's the problem. You didn't get called first. Some little kid did. Some old 10-year-old boy. And then I don't know. He just wanted to be helpful, I guess. And he shuffles in crying. And he doesn't know this math. He's only 10. But he's like, I don't know which bowl to pick. And the lady's like, pick a bowl now, please. And he's like, okay. And he shuffles over to the nearest bowl, which is the third root of 60, and eats it. So guess what? That bowl's gone. Let's cross it out. Let's cross it out. So my question is, if that bowl's gone, which one's next? Talk to your partners. If that bowl's gone, which one's next? Teach. Beautiful. Okay. All right. Can I get you back up here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Josh, which bowl would you go for if that one was taken? Aye, the 4.14114, and so on. How did you decide to pick that, Josh? Yeah. So they're all a tie here, and then there's a three-way tie here for the lowest, then a three-way tie here for the lowest, a three-way tie here for the lowest, and then suddenly 1 and 4 and 5, which means that's the next lowest. What if that one's gone? Then which one would you go for? And what if that one was gone? Will you go ahead and finish this list off? I want the next lowest as the next number. I want the next lowest as the next number. I want the next lowest as the next number, and then I want your worst case scenario as the last number. Go ahead, guys. When I say teach, I want you to say okay. Go ahead and list these out in order from least to greatest. If this bowl's gone, which one's next? And if that bowl's gone, which one's next? And keep it going. Give it a shot and teach. You guys think you know which one's next? Awesome. Ooh, let's see here. Aye. That's perfect. Exactly so. Very good. You know, I heard the Deftones were coming to town, but I cannot remember who they were coming with. I remember they were saying it was like a bit of a surprise who they were. Oh, I think it was Collective Soul is coming to town with the Deftones, I believe. I'd love to go see that show. That's a strange pairing, but I do think that sounds like a fun show. Aye. Let's see. Oh, okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I think that's correct. Love that. I actually like the way that you've got that listed as well. We're gonna go Oliver and then over here to Jayla. Aye, Oliver.
So is it? So it's this one, and then the
Aye. Aye.
the 1.14 is
Mhm.
eating pi plus one, and then the 4 point.
Aye. 4 and 2/5 is where that came from.
2/5, and that.
I square root of 22. Aye, very good. That looks grand. Very good. That's, yes, very good. Aye. That one was second. I like the way you're doing that. Ah, there you go. Love that. Love that. Jayla. I'll be right back, Chuck. I'll help Jayla real quick.
This is what I got, but like these ones are switched.
Oh, that's okay. Aye. Do you mind putting down the way the number looked before? So, like, this one right here, will you actually write 4.14 repeating?
Yeah.
Like, write it like that, and then you'll be in good shape. Because otherwise it'll be really difficult for me to grade when we get to that level 4 question. Let me see. So, 1, 2, 3. Well, which one's that?
That's 1.4 repeating.
Oh, yes, that's that's good. And then 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Exactly so. Very good. Very good. Okay, let's see here. Oh, no, Almas has got a question before I move on. Aye, lassie. Let's see. Least to greatest. Aye, lassie. Did you go the other way? No, you're good. You did it. That's perfect. Aye, that's perfect. You're doing good. Okay. Can I get you back up here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see here. Conrad, what's the next smallest? 4.14 repeating. And then what's the next smallest? Yeah, because we were comparing those all together. Right, because if you check these decimals, you got 4 versus 5. And would you rather have 0.4 or 0.5 pounds of dog food? 0.4. So it'd be 4 and 2/5. And then the square root of 21. How many of us found making that list not too bad? You guys doing all right out there? Cool. Now, before we move on, this is how you get level 3, but the level 2 stuff, in order to get those points, you need to tell me if each of these numbers are rational or irrational. Is the third root of 60 rational or irrational? Everyone is? Well, tell me, was it a nice root or was it a nasty root? It was a nasty root, meaning it's irrational. How about 4.14, Is that rational or irrational? That is irrational. It's one of those stupid number patterns. How about 4.14 repeating? Is that rational or irrational? Ooh, I heard rational. I heard irrational. It is. Can someone tell me why it's rational? Because it is. Akora, why is that rational? Because it's a repeating decimal. And repeating decimals is rational. How about pi plus 1? Irrational. Well, how do you know that, Josh? It's got a pi in it. How about 4 and 2/5? It would be rational. Because two things. Number one, its decimal has an ending. And also, you can write it as 22/5, which is a fraction of integers. So that right there is rational. And then how about the square root of 21? Is that rational or irrational? That's irrational because it's a nasty root. That's how you get 3 on your skill check. How many of us by raise a hand are feeling just fine and dandy on that? If I gave you that skill check tomorrow, which I'm not going to. But if I did, you'd feel ready for it. Cool, okay. Well, let's take this story to the next chapter, shall we? Because remember, you will be compensated for your time. After your turn, you're led into a room much like the other one with a window looking into a room filled with briefcases. Each briefcase has labeled with a number again, and the briefcases are labeled with those numbers. Before we write them down, let's see what's going on. The woman comes back on the PA. Thank you for your time. Each suitcase has the amount of gold in pounds labeled on the suitcase. We'll call you in one by one, and you may take the case and leave. Have a nice day. So, guys, we're going to make this, put this in a list, but should we have the list be the biggest number first or the smallest number first? Which one do you want the most? Biggest. So, go ahead, write these in a stack and compare them and make a list of these briefcases in order from the heaviest case to the lightest case. Go ahead and give that a shot and teach. I'm going to freeze this. Those of you at home, don't worry. I'm going to be writing these numbers down in a big vertical list here in just a second. Okay, let's see here. Oh, who could that be? Oh, I hope not. Hello. Oh, thank you. Oh, very good. Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. That's why I couldn't find my scoreboard level cards. No, I loaned it to Mr. McGowan and I forgot. The square root of 44.89 equals 6.789101 equals 47/7 equals fourth root of 2000 equals 6.789, repeating. And 22 pyths equals. If you're not sure, guys, you can follow along with me. I'm just going to punch these in my calculator and write as many decimals as I can. And that'll be 5 minutes for the Scott. So the square root of 44.89 is 6.7. This would be 6.7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 47/7. 6.71428. 6.71428. Again, I don't round these. I just write down as many decimals as I can, and then I'll add more decimals later if I have to. The fourth root of 2000. 6.6874. 6.6874. That's 6.7898989. 22 pyths. 22 pyths, that's not very nice. 7.00281. 7.00281. Perfect. Keep going, guys. So write down which one you think is the heaviest and cross it off. Write down the one that you think is the second heaviest and cross it off. And just keep going until you've got a list of the most desirable of these briefcases. Give you guys another minute and then I'll walk you through it. Yeah. Let's see here. I think so. And then 3. 4. Yeah. 5. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. That's right. Very good. Okay. Can I get you guys in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Let's see here. Which is the heaviest? Let's see if I can get a little bit of help out there. The heaviest one's not too hard to find. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. Oh, never mind. I already got that. Boy, a lot of empty seats today. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. Nora, which briefcase is the heaviest? Like, if you got called out first, which one are you going to go for?
22.
Yeah, that one's got over 7 pounds. It's the only one like that. So we're going to do that and cross it off. What's the second heaviest?
6.78.
Very good, because the rest of them have a big tie, and then I want the 7s, and then see, then there's a tie between the 8s, there's a tie between the 9s, And then the 8 is over the 9. So that means, or the 8 is over the 1. So 6.789 repeating. And then one more for me, Nora. Which one's right under that? Yeah, that's exactly right. And you know that because those were the two I was just comparing, right? Because it was a big tie until it was 8 versus 1. So I know that that's going to be 6.7, 8, 9, 10, 11, blip, blop, bloopity, blop. Great. Which one's next on my list? Let's see if I can get a little bit of help. And that is going to come from Rachel. What would be the next one on my list? (47/7). Very good. Because that is just a little bit heavier than which one, Rachel? Yeah, the 44.89 square root, which means the lightest case is this one, the fourth root of 2,000. Yeah. Well, let's actually, I'll look that up for you guys. By the way, this is a level 3, is being able to do this. On Canvas, it'll look a little bit more like this. You would say that this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3, 4, 5, and 6. How many of us feel like we can do that? We can identify what number the list is. Great. The other part is identifying if they're rational or irrational. Let's do it really quick. Is 22 over pi rational or irrational? It is irrational. I'll put IRR. How about 6.789 repeating? Is that rational or irrational? That's rational. It's a repeating decimal. How about 6.7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? Is that rational or irrational? That's irrational. It's a crazy number pattern. 47/7. Rational. It's a fraction of integers. The square root of 44.89. That was rational. Yeah, because it had a terminating decimal. It was a nice root. And the fourth root of 2,000? Irrational, okay? Perfect, because it was a nasty root. Whew, that's all we got time for, guys. If you'll go put your calculators away, head back to your assigned seats. I'll dismiss you with the bell. Well done today. Hopefully the rest of your day goes okay. You guys cheer up a little bit.